Hello and welcome back to our Premier League preview and review channel, and in this episode we'll be reviewing the games from Match Week 2. Before we do that, I'd like to say a big shout out to a couple of our new subscribers, Dan Dempsey and Battlebus FC. Dan was at the game in Sheffield last week. Great atmosphere, he tells us, down at Bramall Lane. Hope you had a great day, Dan. We'll talk more about that game shortly towards the end of the video. So we'll start off then with Arsenal versus Burnley. What can you tell us about that game?
So this game ended up being 2-1 to Arsenal. I predicted a 2-1 Arsenal. And we saw some debutants from Arsenal, including David Luiz, Nicolas Pepe and Dani Ceballos. Dani Ceballos being the star of the show.
Yeah, they looked pretty good. Looked a bit more solid, Arsenal, in defence. They had an XG. I also predicted 2-1, by the way, so we both got started off with correct scores on Match Week 2. XG 1.2 to 1.07, so it shows that it was a pretty even game, but Arsenal just edged it out with perhaps a little bit more quality. Okay, next game, Aston Villa versus Bournemouth.
This one ended 2-1 to Bournemouth. I predicted 2-1 Aston Villa, and I thought that was quite harsh on Aston Villa because the XG showed that it was a very close game, and the XG was 1.66 to Aston Villa and 1.63 to Bournemouth.
Yeah, I predicted 1-1, and as you say, the XG reveals that it was actually a really close game, but Aston Villa, new boys to the Premier League, just perhaps need to have that Premier League savvy to hang on in these close games, because you can play some nice football. I thought they played nicely against Spurs, but were undone in the last 20 minutes in that game with quality. Harry Kane bagging a couple of goals, and if you sort of win the battle by playing the better football every game and then lose the game on a bit of quality, it can become demoralising quite quickly. So Aston Villa sort of need to dig in and get some results. So next game, Brighton versus West Ham.
Well, this game ended up 1-1, Brighton West Ham. Another predicted score from me because I predicted 1-1.
Yeah, I also predicted 1-1. I think Brighton were a bit unlucky in this game. The XG reveals that they should have had 2.18 goals and West Ham should have had 0.61. So I think they outplayed West Ham in this game a bit, created better chances. Brighton, surprise package for me this season. I didn't expect too much from them. I thought before the start of the season that they would probably go down, but from the first two games they appear to be looking quite good. So see if that can last. Keep an eye out for them for the next few games. See what they can produce. What about the next game then? Everton versus Watford.
Everton v Watford. This game was a 1-0 Watford. At 1-0 Everton, and I predicted 2-0 Everton. I always thought Everton were going to win this game after Watford had a really bad start against Brighton. Yeah,
I went for 2-0 as well, and again another one where the XG showed a pretty even game, 0.83 to 0.91. So it shows that very, very evenly matched teams. Watford, not a great start for them. Again, another team struggling to get results at the beginning of the season. A run that they will also want to sort of turn around very quickly. Everton invested well over the summer. I thought Moise Kean looked very impressive in that game. Good signing from Juventus, 19 years old. Exciting things to come from him, I think, for Everton. Next game then, Norwich versus Newcastle.
I predicted 1-0 to Norwich, and it was 3-1 Norwich. So Timo Pukki, coming in clutch for Norwich.
Yeah, hat-trick for Timo Pukki. I predicted 2-2 for this game, so I was pretty far off really. But I thought there'd be quite a few goals, which there were, and Timu Puki getting a hat trick, making this Premier League look really easy. I think Norwich are going to be the entertainers this season, and I think Newcastle, well, I don't think there's going to be much entertainment for their fans. I think it's looking like trouble for Newcastle. Next game then, Southampton versus Liverpool.
Well, I thought Southampton were extremely unlucky with this game. Liverpool were just far more the clinical team. I mean, Southampton had so many clear-cut chances, but in the end it finished 2-1 Liverpool, and I predicted a 3-0. I thought it was going to be more one-sided than it actually was.
Yeah, I also predicted 3-0 for Liverpool. I expected them to sort of wipe the floor with Southampton really and be too much for them. But, you know, we watched the game and Southampton were good, weren't they, against Liverpool? Liverpool didn't look that great. I don't think they've really got into their stride yet, which is worrying as they're top with 6 points. But they're still not sort of clicked together as a team yet this season, I don't think. The XG reveals that it was 1.89 to 1.51 to Southampton. So that is a game potentially they could have won, but Liverpool obviously have that more clinical finishing and took their chances better than Southampton did. So, and that's what football's all about. So yeah. Next game then, Man City Spurs.
Well, this one, it really was a strange game. I mean, 2-2, a really good result for Spurs. I predicted 2-1 Man City, and it was just a strange game with Tottenham only having 2 shots. Well, 3, but one of them was from the halfway line, and scoring both the shots was just strange.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I predicted 3-1 to Man City. I expected Man City to beat Spurs, really. Spurs, a couple of new signings for the team that perhaps not fully embedded into the team yet. Man City, pretty stable team. Scored record amount of points over the last 2 seasons in the Premier League. Just carrying on from where they left off, I expected them to beat Spurs fairly convincingly. And the performance and the XG would suggest that they should have. The XG was 3.23 to 0.11, so that's like equivalent to sort of a 3-0 victory really to Man City, and that's the kind of that wouldn't have been unfair on Man City from the performance, I don't think. 0.11 XG for Spurs is the lowest XG of any team in the Premier League this season, and they managed to get two goals on the back of that, so that's just incredible.
And VAR just...
Oh yeah, and VAR again. Wow, it was you know, I don't know, deja vu really. Man City must be sick of VAR already, 2 games in. So yeah, just an amazing result. But you know, it's good for Spurs that they can dig out a result like that against such a good side. And you know, when they start to gel and click this season, I think they could be a serious force, definitely to finish in the top 4 again. On to our game for our subscriber Dan Dempsey, Sheffield United versus Crystal Palace.
Yeah, so that one finished 1-0 to Sheffield. Quite deserved, really. I thought they could have had a couple of more, I think, as well.
Yeah, who scored the goal?
Lundstram, I think.
Yeah.
A really good person for your fantasy team if you've got him in.
Yeah, the XG, I predicted 1-1 for this. It was 1.85 to 0.24. So Sheffield United, really impressing really at home. Crystal Palace, they've not scored yet in the Premier League, and that's a worry for them. So it's a good early start, takes the pressure off Sheffield United, and you know, allows them to go out there in the Premier League and perhaps play a bit and show what they're all about, and hopefully get away from that bottom 3 and all the pressure early on, and you know, try and establish themselves in the league a bit. So what about Chelsea Leicester then?
Well, I predicted 1-1, and that was the correct score again for me. I really think though Chelsea aren't looking very good this season. Unlucky against Liverpool, but I really think Leicester could have won that game as well.
Yeah, close game, Chelsea-Leicester, fairly evenly matched side, and the XG reveals that as 1.21 to 0.94, so this game really could have gone either way. I also predicted 1-1 for this game, so another correct score, and I think the reason I predicted that is because what I've seen from Chelsea so far isn't that great. I think Jose Mourinho's questioned Frank Lampard and his use of younger players, being able to rely on them. I mean, they do have a good crop of young players, but I think it'll take a little bit of time for them to mature and actually produce the goods for Chelsea. Having said that, Mason Mount, he did score quite a good goal in that game, didn't he? Yeah. Final game then, Wolves versus Man United.
I predicted a 2-2 draw, but it ended up 1-1, so a correct result for me. Martial getting 2 in 2 games, and Ruben Neves scoring a screamer.
Yeah, that was really was a game of two halves, that game. Man U really dominated the first half, looked really strong. Didn't think there was anything other than a Man U win on the cards at half time. Adama Traore, I think, did he come on at half time or early in the second half? Looked really powerful, full of running for them. Gave Luke Shaw a nightmare in the fullback position, and I think totally they turned it round in the second half, and it was a great corner routine that led to that goal. Well worked, well worked from direct from the training ground, really, and it was a really nice goal, one for the spectators. XG 0.31 to 1.15, so Man U did dominate early on, but Wolves definitely came back into that game in the second half, and Man U didn't look anywhere near the force they were in the first half, so good result for Wolves.
Yeah, and Rui Patricio saving that penalty from Pogba. I don't think Rashford will be happy with that, because he scored against Chelsea from a penalty spot.
Yeah, how many more Man U penalties is Pogba going to take? Not many, I would suggest. So that's the end of our roundup of the results from last week, and I think, what did you get? You got 7 out of 10. That's pretty good, and 3 correct scores. I only got 6 out of 10 this week, but I got 4 correct scores. So I think that's pretty much honours even. So we'll say I'm still winning 1-0.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So leave a like on this video.
Comment.
And subscribe.